Oh, we're recording already. Um,
Alright, today we finally have all of our cabinets here. We made 2 extra trips all the way up to Memphis. Where we live, it's about an hour and 45-minute drive. What is that? The lady at the store told us that all of our cabinets would be there Sunday and we could come pick them up. So Amanda and I made a special trip, drove all the way up there, got to the counter, and they said, the cabinets are here, but they're on a truck and it hasn't been unloaded yet. We told them we would wait, and they said it takes a person with a special certification to unload the truck. And that person had left at 10 that morning. The store didn't open until 11. Long story short, we weren't able to get our cabinets that day, but Amanda went up the next day by herself while I was working and picked up the last few that we were missing. If you ever wonder what a full set of kitchen cabinets from IKEA looks like, this is it. That is literally the entire kitchen. And that is one of the big benefits of IKEA cabinets, is the ease of transportation. And it's kind of what they're known for. If you've ever bought any furniture from IKEA, you know you have to assemble it. And their cabinets are no exception. They come flat packed like this, so you can easily get them home, assemble it yourself. It saves you some money purchasing the kitchen because IKEA didn't have to pay someone to put these cabinets together for you. And we literally loaded all of that up in Amanda's SUV. But if you're thinking about purchasing a kitchen from them, it's a little different process than when you're buying their furniture. First, you'll plan your kitchen online, and you can either do that in the store with one of their associates' help, or you can do it at home on their website. It's a pretty intuitive planner where you just give out the dimensions of your room, and then you can pull cabinets from their availability and set them in the room in 3D and see what it looks like. You can even change the color of the room to match the room that you're actually doing, and put tile or wood on the floor so that you can get an idea of what these cabinets will look like in the space. And that part works really well. But after you have it planned, you'll go to IKEA and you'll let their associate look over your plan with you, make sure that you didn't miss anything, and make sure everything works like it's supposed to. And they are really good at this. Their kitchen associates are very well trained. The guy that was helping us, he went over our plan super fast, found any mistake that we had made and made sure everything worked. And he even found some cheaper options for the upper cabinets that we were installing that would work better than what I had planned. But once you have that done, you'll purchase your kitchen in the kitchen department of IKEA. You don't actually have to take it down to the register and purchase it. And once you do that, it starts an order in their system where they'll start pulling those items for you. This stuff's not on the shelf like the rest of your furniture be in their warehouse. They have all the kitchen stuff set back, and they have people actually pulling this for you. And they'll have it all set on carts for you when you get down there. They'll actually text you when your order is ready now, which is really convenient. But you'll go back, all your stuff will be on carts, and then you can wheel it all outside and load your vehicle up yourself. Before you get started putting anything together, you just want to make sure that's all there. I know that we're missing a couple of pieces. We had some glass doors going on our upper cabinets, and they were out of those. They were back ordered for 3 weeks, I think. So I know those aren't going to be on here, but everything else should be. So we're just going to double check and make sure they're all there. You can see on our list, we've just gone down through here. This is the item number, and it'll kind of give you a description, but it'll be one of those Swedish names. It's kind of hard to understand. That's also written on the box, and it'll give you your quantity. Find those numbers that are written on the box. See the name and the stock number. Once I find this in my pile, I'll just put me an X to let me know I've already counted this one. And I just do that on every single piece, and that way it's easy to look on your list when you're done. So anything that doesn't have a check mark by it, you're missing that piece. And if you go through all your pieces out here and something doesn't have an X on it, you know it wasn't on your list. Mentioned on a previous video how most contractors now are switching to all battery operated tools because it's more convenient, especially when you're talking about nail guns, so you don't have to carry around the compressor and the hose, which I have a fairly small compressor. And it's not very heavy, but it is kind of awkward to carry it around everywhere you go. It does take up room in the truck. And the other thing is this, the noise. I think everyone's gotten so spoiled now not listening to that kick on and off all the time. With battery operated guns, you don't have to listen to any of that. I've switched pretty much all of my guns now to battery operated just because it's so much more convenient. Like I was showing with the laser level, if you've got a battery that's charged, you pop it in, you just go to work. With this, it's a lot of trouble carrying around a compressor, which does weigh 40, 50 pounds, the air hoses, and having to deal with that. Unfortunately, I don't have a battery operated staple gun. It's not a tool I use on a daily basis. I really only even purchased it to put cabinets together. For me, I find it's a little bit quicker to do one job repetitively. So if you got to do assemble stuff, assemble everything at once, and then when you get ready to hang stuff, hang everything at once. That way you kind of build up that muscle memory of doing the same job over and over again, and you do it a little faster. Whereas if you build one, then hang one, build one and hang one, you kind of get out of that rhythm of what you were just doing. You may not have enough space to set all these out because, I mean, you're gonna have a whole kitchen's worth of cabinets when these are put together. But since we don't have any furniture in the house, I can set these anywhere, just get them out of the way. I'm just gonna be setting them up here in this living room and dining room as I put them together. Since these cabinets come with their own instructions and there's already loads of information online about how to put things like this together, I'm not gonna get too detailed on the step-by-step of assembling the cabinets because I feel like you could probably figure that out on your own. I'm gonna try to focus more on the little tips and tricks I use to make this go quicker and easier. But if there's any step in this that you don't really know how to do and you want a little more information, feel free to put it in the comments down below, or you can message me directly on Instagram, and my Instagram is right here. If you look online, a lot of homeowners who are installing these cabinets themselves, I'll see them down on their hands and knees assembling the cabinets on the floor. We just had some clouds. And I guess it's kind of intuitive because if you've ever built a bookcase at home or assembled a coffee table that you bought at a store, I mean, you're not gonna set up something like this to put that piece of furniture together. You're just gonna sit there on your hands and knees in the living room floor, put it together, then use the piece of furniture. You'll see as we go along, there's gonna be so many repetitive pieces you have to assemble here, especially if you have a really large kitchen. You're gonna be doing cabinet after cabinet, and to do all of that on your hands and knees is gonna kill your back and your knee. The first one of these I actually did the same thing myself, but on the second kitchen I installed, I started using this method here. There's a reason when you go into factories that you don't see the workers on their hands and knees assembling a laptop or a Toyota. They're usually standing upright because it's a more comfortable position to put stuff like this together. An old door or a couple of doors seem like it's about the right size to put these cabinets together with. And plus it's free because I had it left over from another job. As far as assembly goes, you're not going to really need any specialty tools to do this. You don't even need the staple gun. You can just hand drive the little pins they give you for the backing. It's just a little more time consuming, is the reason I'm using it. Pretty much the only things you'll have to put this together are a Phillips and flathead screwdriver and some sort of hammer. I'm using the same rubber mallet that I used putting the flooring down in a previous episode. I use this thing for a lot of stuff when I'm dealing with like delicate materials that I don't want to damage, like cabinets or flooring, because a metal hammer, like even if you just drop it sometimes, it can ding up what you're working on. And honestly, IKEA would probably recommend against it. but I use an impact driver when I'm putting these together. There's a ton of these little screws that you're gonna have to put in. Or if it's just one piece, yeah, I'd probably just screw these in with a Phillips head. But you have to do so many of these for a kitchen. It is gonna take you a while, and it's gonna be exhausting hand driving every one of these into all these cabinets. If you feel more comfortable using a Phillips head screwdriver and hand driving them, knock yourself out. They do give you an arrow pointing which way this should go. The arrow will point towards your fastener inside the hole. This is the part typically in the instructions where you would hand drive all these nails in. Once you've got the back on, they'll want you to tack these pins all the way around to keep the back in place. Just to speed things up, this is where we use a staple gun. And that is pretty much it as far as assembling the frames go. A lot of people will choose to assemble a cabinet and then go right in the kitchen and hang it up. But to me, it's always been easier just to keep going with what I'm doing, get all these put together, then hang them all at one time. So until we get all these put together, it's pretty much just this same process over and over and over with all those. So now we'll just set this one aside and it's just on to the next one. I also recommend, if you can find one, getting one of these cheap furniture dollies to move your cabinets into place, especially if you're working by yourself. It keeps me from killing my back just moving these all the time, picking them up and down, and just makes moving around the house way easier. Even if Amanda is here, we still use these. I've got one more of those corner cabinets to assemble, but since it's almost 5 o'clock and I really don't want to break this one getting it off the table, I'm gonna wait for Amanda to lift this one off the table and set it down a little more carefully. But first thing tomorrow, once I get that one off the table, I've only got one base cabinet left to assemble. Once I get all those put together though, we'll start hanging them. I think I may go ahead and stop it here today, since the other cabinets will be just a repeat of what I've already done. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and see you again on the next one.